Hey YouTube, and welcome back. In the last video, we changed all the commands sent over our broker to JSON data. We also modified our code to allow dedicated topics to communicate with our IoT devices. Now, these changes were simple. They were very simple changes that would allow us properly parse and store data. In this video, we will connect to a secure, we'll make some code changes to connect to a secure MQTT broker, and then hopefully store data sent to our secure broker into a database. Now, there are different types of databases that can be used for our system. However, in our earlier videos, we did discuss how time series databases are faster and simplify data storage for the Internet of Things, right? We would look into using the InfluxDB cloud to store data, and we would also consider probably using Grafana Labs to create dashboards for our data. I will try my best to explain and simplify the technologies used in this video, and hope you learn a lot from it. Again, please feel free to subscribe, like, comment, and share these videos. Now, let's get into it. Okay, so let's open a new tab. We need to get a new broker. HiveMQ is really good with this. So let's go back to HiveMQ and let's create an account for a broker. Let me see. It's been a while I've done this. Let me see. Okay, try HiveMQ. Download. Okay, nope. We want to register for a cloud account. Okay, HiveMQ cloud. Okay, now let's create an account. We'll need to log in. Okay, yep, let's log in with our Gmail and Francis Okechukwu. Just IoT Masterclass. Okay. Let's do that. And great. We have an account that looks really good. Really good. Okay, so let's go and look at which clusters we do have. Which cluster is this? Manage cluster. This is a Microsoft Azure cluster. It's free. Usually I prefer the Amazon clusters. It's all the same. I guess it just depends on preference. So let me create a cluster, create an AWS cluster. The Azure is great too. Whichever one you want to use, it's the same. It'll work. Let's create a cluster. And okay, so I think is this our new cluster? Yep, Amazon Web Services. That is correct. Oh, this is the Azure one. We don't really need it, so I'll just delete it. All right. So we have just one cluster here so that we don't make mistakes. Just to confirm that again, it is a Amazon Web Services. Okay, cool. So it's free. Just whenever you want it, you can create one for yourself. Now, so this is our broker, right? So let's copy this URL. We'll go back to our code here. Excuse me. and we will change the broker to this. Okay, and that is our new broker. It's a secure broker, so we would need a username and password for it. So previously, you remember we didn't have a username and password to access this. So let's go back here. And let's go to access management up here, and we're going to set up a new account. So we'll use we'll use just IoT masterclass. I think that's fine. So, and we'll also use password. We could use masterclass, just so that we know this. So masterclass 9090. I think that's good. Just not really good to do this, but I'm just trying to rush. Masterclass 9090, and we want to give it publish and subscribe. I think that's fine, right? Looks good. Now we're gonna go ahead and add this. I'm extremely satisfied, but I don't have time right now, so we can just X out of that, right? Again, we'll go back. So our username is IoT Masterclass. Let's put that in here for the username, right? And our password is what? Our password is password was Masterclass 9090, right? Okay, looks good so far. So far so good. When you can create your own, you should create your own rather, because I will be probably deleting this broker after creating this video. So please do create your own and fill in the gaps, fill in the details like we've done in this video, like we're doing in this video, and it should be fine. It should be fine. So we're also going to set some parameters. So here we have this. So let's do this. We're going, so it is a secure broker, right? So let me see. Okay, looks like we're good so far. So we would set give me a second. Okay, let's go ahead and finish it up. So we would set SSL as true, and you could look at the documentation for this also. How to do this? I think there's a GitHub documentation that you can use for this. So SSL as true. We would also set SSL params equals so SSL params equals, let's set server hostname, and server hostname, we're just gonna set it to our MQTT broker. So I think that's that. Right? It's not visible. Okay. So let's check this again. SSL is true. SSL params, and then we set the username and password. I think we're good. Now let's go ahead and run this and see if it works. So we'll run that. Sometimes it takes a while to connect. Let's just wait on it. Oh, sorry about that. I said SSS params. It should be SSL params. Oh, sorry about that. My mistake. Okay, let's try this again. Well, nothing like a bug. Okay. Hopefully it connects. It takes a while sometimes. Good. It is connected. That is really good. So you can see same thing like we did before, but now a different broker. Something that's more secure and that's private for our use, right? So this is good. Now let's stop this. We're going to open our Android Studio. So I'm gonna open the Android Studio. Give me a second. Here's our Android Studio. Okay, this is our Android Studio. We're gonna make a change. First of all, let's go to version 3. So you can remember I showed you the video how you can just download the zip if you want, or you can, if you clone the whole repo, you can get everything and just switch. So either you download the zip or clone the whole repo, whichever one. So let's check out this. And okay, so username we already have set as masterclass 9090. IoT masterclass password we already have set as masterclass 9090. We need to set the MQTT broker, right? Because we just created that, right? So, and you can see there is a note here to input your MQTT broker here, right? So let us go ahead and copy our MQTT broker. We can just get it from here, right? Overview. Let's get it from here. And we could just okay. Let's just replace that. So no, if you use the previous code from version 2 or version 1, it will not work. The reason is in version 2 and version 1, there were some settings that weren't put in place to support support this a secure broker, right? So if you go back to our main activity here, you would see that there are some changes that was made in the that I made in the connection method, start MQTT connection, right? So we have this, and we use the SSL config, and we applied SSL config, and we set the server port to 8883, which is a secure port. And pretty much I think that's it, right? I assume. I don't think there's any much to it, but this wasn't done in the previous code. So just make sure when you're working with this and when you're trying this out, try to use the version 3 that to ensure that you have everything in a properly working manner, right? Okay, so let's go ahead and run this. So we've made that change. So let's run this. Hopefully we connect. Android app is loading. Let's see what's here. Yep, so it says we're subscribed. We're definitely subscribed, and we're connected to the MQTT broker. We're subscribed, and we can publish. So let's minimize this. Just take this out. Okay, let's redo this screen a little bit. Okay, it's looking good. So now walkway 001, walkway 001, let's run this. Hopefully if we're connected to the secure broker, we should be fine, right? Take the while, connected, very good, yep. So you could see, you know, we're using a totally different broker, different than what we were using earlier. And we're connected, we're getting the humidity value, temperature value. We can switch on, red light is on, blue light off, red light off. You can see the red light come off, and that is fine. So at this point, we have our own secure broker that we could use anytime we want. And it's all set up, right? Private broker. And now what's going to happen next is we're going to try to save the data coming from our device into a database, and that's what we're going to do next. So let's go ahead and create our InfluxDB account. So we'd want to okay, so let's get InfluxDB. Okay, InfluxDB cloud, sign up, create your free InfluxDB account. I like free. Okay, continue with Google. That sounds cool. Do that, create an account, company name, IoT Masterclass, organization. Just have that as dev for now. Okay, let's assume we have a dev team. Storage provider, AWS, East Coast. Yeah, that's closer to me. I have reviewed and agreed. Yes, I have. And continue. Oh, I don't have money right now, so I'm gonna go for free. So feel free to use a paid or a free plan. I think the paid plan, they give you a $250, yeah, a $250 credit or something, and then after that you can start paying. It's pretty cool too. If you have that, I think you should go for that if you can afford that. Okay, so there are multiple ways we could do this, right? Yeah, we didn't have to use InfluxDB, but it's just simple and easy to integrate, and it's on the cloud. We didn't need to set up. Going through this tutorial, I just didn't want anything that would require too much setting up. And as you can see, even to set up the Android app, I have the code ready for you to go. So just something that you can get done on yourself and set up easily. That's on the cloud. You don't want to be setting up VMs, right? You could have a VM. You could have a VM do some of these things like an OpenStack or Google Cloud. Or Microsoft Azure. You can have VMs there, or even AWS that can do some of these things. But we wanted to just go for something simple, quick to set up, and that wouldn't waste too much time, right? So we have this data, and it's going on our broker, right? There are multiple ways we can extract it. We could use Kafka, make all these connections. It just gets cumbersome sometimes with a lot of ways to do certain things, right? simple. Sometimes I tell everyone, I tell people when I work with engineers, I say simple, simple is good sometimes. It doesn't have to be too crazy, except you're building a very complicated system, right? So we're just looking for something simple, something that we can work with. I'm expecting some of us watching these videos are new to IoT and setting these things up, and maybe might not have all the resources. So I'm looking for free, simple stuff that can get us really started, right? A lot of things out there you wouldn't believe, right? Like, just imagine OpenStack giving you free VMs on the cloud. Like, imagine what you could do with that, right? So there are a lot of things out there, right? So we're going to use a simple approach. A great tool that I've seen with InfluxDB is the Telegraf. It's a great way to pull data from anywhere into, and there are a lot of applications that can be written for Telegraf. It's been a while I've worked with some of these things, right? But a lot of applications like InfluxDB and so it's just been a while, right? So just a lot of things you can do out there, right? So Telegraf is a good tool. We're going to try to use that to pull data. We're going to use Telegraf to connect to our IoT. We're going to use Telegraf to connect to our broker, and we're going to pull that data and then save it. So let's go up to here, this arrow button here, and go to source. We need a source to get our data, right? So we're going to go to Telegraf. We don't have any. You could also sign up for this InfluxDB University. Really cool. You could learn a lot there, if you can afford it. It might be, I think it's free too. I don't know. I don't remember. So let's go to Telegraf, and let's create a configuration in Telegraf, right? Give me 1 second. Okay. So let's create a configuration. We do not have a bucket yet. So we're gonna have to create a bucket. So give me 1 second. So let's create a bucket. So we're gonna call it MQTT data dash all. We're just gonna save all our data in one place. That's fine. We just have a simple application right now. Nothing too crazy. Nothing really out of the ordinary for now. Delete data, never. We don't want any advanced setting for now. And we'll create that. So that's pretty cool. And we're gonna look for a source. So we'll use MQTT. It brings up this MQTT consumer source. So let's add that. Continue configuration. Name. Let's give that a name. We're gonna give it MQTT MQ source. You could give it anything you want. Description, not really needed. So here we have to put in the IoT server, right? So we did create a server, right? We can connect to TCP, but let's go back to our server, right? This is our server, right? Let's open. Let's go to a web client. We can copy the full URL from here. You can do that. It's just, you just need to put the WSS WebSocket and specify you want the MQTT basically. So let's just do this. I'll just copy it out of here, right? We'll inspect this. Web client username is IoT masterclass. Hold on, we'll go to network and we'll go to WebSockets. Password is what is the password again? Master class 9090, right? And we're just gonna connect to the client from here. You could use this, this is a secure client, right? You could use almost as the same thing we had previously, right, that we were using from the public one, right? So let's just see the details. So you can see we can copy this. Just copy this out. You could do this, if you want, just type it out on your own. It's fine. Sometimes I'm just, I guess, a little lazy. Just do stuff. So it probably took longer to do that, really, if I'm looking at it being lazy. Probably took me a lot more longer to get that information that way. Anyways, that's by the way. Let me close this off. I just needed that. I can disconnect this client. I just needed that information. Right, so let's go back to Telegraf. Right, so we have our broker, which we're just gonna use the WebSocket for connection on 844, and we'll use the MQTT from there. Now you could use the TCP and just specify the 8883, but I think this is fine too. Either way, whichever way you use is okay. Now with topics, we go into, like the topic that we have to listen for, is different for every device, right? So if you're listening to if you're listening to a device that has a different ID, like WOKWI 001 or WOKWI 002, the topic is gonna be different. So we're gonna use the operator, the plus operator, for connection, which allows us to skip one variable. So just give me a second here. Okay, and we could take this out. So basically we're connecting to the telemetry to get all the data, right? So we have IoT device. This would have been where we would put WOKWI 001, right? But we're just going to use the addition operator there. That's a plus, right? So we skip one variable and then telemetry. So that should get us to the telemetry topic, right? We can open this, so that we have the topic tag saved. So you can save the topics for us, right? We will also let's go down. Which other setting do we need? We can set a client ID, right? A client ID. So you could get a generated GUID, for that, but just so that we know who's connecting to, our broker, we'll just use influx dash MQTT dash client. Looks good so far. Username and password. We already created that, so username is IoT Masterclass, right? We could just copy that from here. We had it here somewhere. Probably should have just declared a variable. It's like a very difficult way to find things sometimes. Oh yeah, here it is. Always skips my eyes. Where's my glasses anyways? Okay, oh, here's my glasses. Sorry about that. Okay, so copy. We're gonna paste that there. IoT Masterclass, and sorry about that. Password Masterclass 9090. Just copy that, and we're gonna paste that there. This is looking good, right? Now, I think one last thing we need, okay, well, not really the last thing, but one other thing we need to do is the data format, right? So we could get the data format from here, right? So I'm just gonna set the data format. By default is set to influx, but our data is set in JSON, right? That was one of the reasons we had to change our code, because we wanted to make things simple, right? So that this can properly parse the JSON data, right? And then the last thing we want to do is we want to be able to, so for one thing about InfluxDB is if you send data that's just string, it's good with taking numbers and other floating variables, right? But if you send numbers, if you send a variable in your JSON that's string, it's not gonna save it. It's weird. I don't know why that was done that way. I'll have to read the documentation to find out. But you really need to specify. You actually need to specify which of your variables are strings. And we have these variables right now. Our red LED variable, we want that saved. Blue LED variable, our type, and our device ID. Yeah, so we want these string variables saved, right? So you just need to name it JSON string fields with an S, and then you specify your string variables, right? Fortunately, I don't have that open right now. Maybe we can see it here. But you see, we have this, and this is a string for off. Type is also a string for lamp. Device ID is also a string. Red LED and blue LED are both strings, right? So we just need those variables. If not, it's not gonna get saved, right? And I think that's all we need. You can parse out data from the topic too, but I don't think we really need that at this point. Description, basically just put MQTT parser. Whatever. Save and test. Okay, so to run Telegraf, there are three things you need to do. First, you need to install Telegraf on your local machine, right? You need Telegraf installed on your local machine. You need to configure your API token, right? You need to configure your API token. And you also need to start Telegraf, right? So I think the first thing to do is to install Telegraf. So I'm just going to go and install Telegraf first. So let's go InfluxDB. Oh, no, I want Telegraf. Okay, no, just 2 versions. This is unstable. I don't want a Docker image. Just give me a Mac OS image instead. Now, you could, this will have to be running for you. Telegraf would have to be running on some machine somewhere for your data to be streamed into your database, right? So you could maybe use one of these. You could have a VM on OpenStack, run that. Or, you could have a VM on Google Cloud or Azure or AWS, run that for you. But just for simplicity's sake, for now, I will run it in my local machine that I'm working with, right? So I'm going to download, I think I'm working with a Mac, right? So I'm going to download this. So it says brew update. I hope I have brew installed. Give me a second. Where is my terminal? Okay. I hope I have brew installed. Oh, I don't have brew installed, huh? Okay. I'll probably have to install brew. Okay, so I have the brew website open, brew.sh. So I'm just gonna copy this, and I'm going to let me put this out here. So much stuff on the screen, stuff everywhere. Okay, just gonna type this. I think that's all that we need, right? Okay, so it's asking for my sudo password. Okay. Might take a while. Looks like it's installing. Oh, okay. That's cool. Looks like that's it. Quite easy. So let's go back with brew installed. Let's go back to install it or download. All right. So it did say we just run brew update, right? It should be updated already. Okay, welcome back. Yeah, sorry about that. It's weird, I tried the homebrew install and it didn't work on my Mac. I'm using an Apple M1. So I went back and went to Stack Overflow and went to search. So it seems you need to input these two commands, right? And once I did that, I think I now have brew, because now I can get the version of brew. It says I have homebrew 4.0.9. That is weird. I didn't know this was different on the M1. Haven't done this in a while. So if you're using a Mac, I guess if maybe you're using a Intel Mac, you should be fine. But maybe if you're using one of the M1s, you might have this problem, right? So you just have to put in this tool. I'll try to see if I can save this link somewhere and put it with this video. Just in case you have the problem, maybe you can you can solve it with the same way I did. But I guess we're done with that. Okay, so let's go back to where we were with the download. So we'll do a brew update now. So brew update. Brew is updating. Should be already up to date. I just installed it. So brew install Telegraf. That's what we've been waiting for. Sorry for the delay, and here we go. So we'll download in Telegraf, and it'll probably take a while. Not sure how long this is gonna take, but let's see. If it's gonna take too long, I'll have to cut the video and continue later. Right, but I'm seeing like 100% coming up soon. Oh, cool. Right, so this is good. So it looks like we have Telegraf installed, right? Interesting. Okay, so it says we should run Telegraf, right? We should install Telegraf. Now, let me just open a new tab on my terminal here. Terminal, shell, new tab, basic. Okay. So after installing Telegraf, it says we should copy this, right? Copy your the API token. So I'm just gonna copy that. I'm gonna paste that in here. You probably want to save this, because if you don't save it, I probably won't. Well, you can always generate a new one anyways, right? You probably want to save this anyways somewhere that you can remember, right? All right, so I'm probably gonna delete this so that I'm opening it right now so you can see it, know how it's being used. But when I'm done with the video, I'll probably delete everything, right? So so you can paste your token and run that. Click enter, and now we can copy this right? And paste that. We good to go? Now, if we're running properly, we should be connected, right? So you can see this. It says we are connected to this MQTT. Okay. So we have this working now. We could just end this for now. One of the things though that you would see is it's in the name of our, so hold on, let me see, where was that? Okay, so a host, so it kind of has my name there, Francis's Mac Mini Local. All right, so we want to change that. I am using a Mac Mini, so yeah, we want to change that. We don't want that to show up there. So what we're gonna do, let's stop this, Command C. Oops. That's a Control C. Yeah, Control C. Sorry, keep forgetting that. Okay, Control C. So we're just gonna finish this. We're gonna open this. So to get to this, quite easy. So if you're anywhere else, all you gotta do is just go back, go to sources, go to Telegraf, right? And we can, if you want those instructions again, you can click it here, but you'll have to generate a new token, because if you didn't save the previous one, you would have to generate a new one. And anytime you generate them, they would be here in your API token. So this was the one that was just generated automatically for us to connect to Telegraf, right? So you can deal with that, right? So one thing I wanted to do was I wanted to change that host. I don't usually like that. I don't know, just doesn't look nice to me. All right, so and just gonna go here to host, and I'm gonna type local dot MQTT dot Telegraf. I think that sounds nice. That looks nice. What do you think? So just save that. That should be fine. Gonna save that. And now I'm gonna run this again just to make sure that our changes did take effect. Just click the up arrow to play the previous thing. Enter. And yeah, that looks pretty cool. Host is now local.mqtt.telegraf, and it says I'm connected to the MQTT server. That's I guess via WebSocket. It's the same. All right. So what do we do now? So now we need to run our we need to run this, right? Let me take this, let me minimize this, take this off the screen for now. Okay, looks good. Okay, just probably want to put this somewhere I can access it. So this has to keep running, remember. So if this doesn't run, you can't stream. I'm not sure what changes we made the last time on this, but looks like there were some changes. Interesting. I hope we didn't change anything. Okay, cool. All right. I wonder why it wasn't saved. So we're gonna go ahead and run this, right? So let's see if it works. Hopefully I didn't change anything, which I don't think so. I guess we don't need to connect. Sometimes it takes a while. Cool. So we are connected to our MQTT broker, right? Just make sure that's the right broker, 5E7B. Making sure we're connected to the right thing, 5E7B. All right, looks like we're good at this point. And we have some data that, we want to stream some data, right? We're still connected. We just have to monitor this, that this doesn't break. Because if it breaks, that means you have to restart it. Yeah. So usually it might just be good if you have, like we talked about it, right? If you had like an OpenStack VM or Google Cloud VM, or some VM on any other server, AWS, Amazon, right? You could run it there and then just get your data from there, right? So now I'm gonna just try to put in some test data, because one of the things with our code is we're not constantly sending data. We only send data when there's a change, right? You can modify that so that you can maybe, for a real IoT device, you probably want to send data maybe every 5 minutes or every 10 minutes, so that we know that your device is working, instead of only sending data when things change, right? So it depends. Different IoT devices, different, use cases. So it depends on your use case. So I just need some data to come in, right? Okay. Are we still connected? Yes, we are. Okay. So now I'm gonna go here to the Data Explorer, and okay, so I'm in the Data Explorer. I'm gonna select my data, right, which is the MQTT data all, right, and I'm also gonna select the MQTT consumer. Oh, wow, you could see it's already streaming in some of the data. We have the blue LED. Some of those fields have already started coming in, right? So let me expand this out a little so that we can see. I'm gonna say, okay, it hasn't been an hour yet, right? So I just started this right now. So just say apply time range and run. Ooh, wow. Okay, so here's some of our data, right? We can see some data that just came in, right? We have humidity at 33, 85.5, 11.7, 61.5, the host is local MQTT Telegraf, right? This mouse isn't working very well, so I just highlight it to scroll. So you see, we got all the fields. Now, if you didn't specify those string fields, some of these fields wouldn't show up, like the red LED, those are string fields, right? So, let's see if there's any of that here. Interesting. It looks like, oh, okay, yeah, you see, there's one of that off, right? So we don't have many of that. It probably when the device started, right? So I'm just gonna go ahead and send some commands from here, right? So let's just send so that we can get some of those LED data, right? So, because like really in a normal IoT case, maybe you want to send this every 5 minutes, or, there are cases where I've worked with in the past where, you come on your website and you say, okay, give me the data, and it pulls it from the, calls the device in the site, at the site or the location where the IoT device is located, and it pulls it directly at that time so that it can give you the latest one, just in case your database is not in sync. And you can see why that would happen sometimes, right? Could be power failure or something. And if there's a power failure, then, you would know what to do. So I'm just putting this on and off, right? So you can see the blue LED is on now, red LED is on now. That's then we could maybe change some of this data. And now let's see what we have. So I'm going to take this out of the screen. And now still not up to an hour yet, right? So let's run this again. Oh, cool. So you can see it's off. LED, which LED is that? Blue LED is off. Red LED is off. It all doesn't come in at the same time, right? Blue LED is probably not arranged. It's a string value pair database most likely or something. I don't know. But Yeah, it's probably not a relational database, but I'm not sure what type of database they use. But yeah, the data is there, probably not sorted properly. You can always sort it with time, right? If you wanted, you could write your query here to sort it out with time, right? So, but we're not doing that right now. I think you could probably do that by using the timestamp. Where is the timestamp? Sorry. I think if you you probably have to write the query to sort it. Anyways, that's just it, showing you the data. Now, so I think what next we are going to do is we're going to try to parse this data. Unfortunately, this version doesn't give you a dashboard. I think if you had the community version, I'm not sure what version was the enterprise, one of the, probably the community version and the enterprise. They probably give you a place where you can create dashboards, but that doesn't matter. We can always create a dashboard on Grafana Labs. So we'll try that out. So for now, you could see what we've done so far. You know, we've been able to stream the data to the cloud, and the data is still streaming, and we can see the data saved in this database, which is good at this point, right? So yeah, so next we will use Grafana Labs.